All right. I finally got it to work. Here I am. Holy crap. It's actually working. Hey everybody, it's Prince of Queens, and yeah, I can't actually say I have this like big exciting intro. To be perfectly honest, I was trying to get this to work for a really long time. I ended up reinstalling my system software, and then it turned out there was just some like weird little arbitrary barrier. There was a glass ceiling in the way of me starting my live stream. And I'm honestly kind of groggy and don't really have a whole lot to say. I kind of wanted to make a whole video today, and I wrote out a script, and I think it's kind of good, but I realized that I was too spacey to revise it well. And I also what else did I do? Oh, I also wrote another script. That was the other thing that I did, and I also didn't want to record that yet. So I have these two scripts that I'm sitting on. And here's the thing, guys. As you might know, I can almost never live stream. Like, my channel is in terms of small channels, I am such a frequent target of strange little things that make it so that I can't live stream. And everybody likes to say I'm paranoid and that I'm just kind of making it up, except for have you noticed that I almost never live stream? Well, it's because I can't. There's a reason for that. It's because most of the time I literally can't. But whenever I can, it's like this amazing thing. And I feel, hey, I might as well celebrate, and I might as well say, hey, by the way, I can live stream. So here I am. I'm live streaming, and ta-da, you can send me some super chats if you want, or you can just PayPal me. Don't donate to me on Patreon. Don't do that. You know what? You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to just rant a teeny bit. I'm really bothered by the whole Patreon situation, and I am bothered by it because I have principles. I'm not bothered by it because of the fact that I'm some big Sargon fanboy. I'm bothered by it by the fact that like Sargon and I essentially share basically all of the same political, I mean, give or take. Yeah, there's like a 5% margin of error between the two of us, but him and I largely agree about various different things. And you know, like the same reasons why people are defending him, they're basically taking the words right out of my mouth, right? And so when Sargon gets taken down by Patreon, of course I'm feeling it personally. I feel like I could be next. But what's kind of annoying me is that there's this weird group of people who are sort of there's two things that are happening that are kind of bothering me. There's the people who are saying, "Oh, well, oh, Patreon's a private company. It can do whatever it wants." Oh, and it's like, okay, that's really, really dumb because they literally are violating their own terms of service. They're lying to their customers. That has to be some sort of false advertising or something. And they're being blatantly inconsistent. Like, I realize that if somebody were to say that okay, so I've definitely made the argument that if somebody didn't want to bake a gay wedding cake, then maybe they don't really have to. But like, what if they decided to like that they were willing to bake gay wedding cakes for everybody except for the person who's a gay Republican? Wouldn't that be kind of irritating? So there's already that group of people who are just kind of completely irritating because it's like they're not even thinking about the arguments. And a number of these people are actually people who used to be in like the skeptic sphere or used to be in the free speech sphere, but then they just decided to give up on their principles for whatever reason. Like I don't even want to speculate about why such people gave up on their principles because I honestly don't really know. I think that in a lot of cases, it's just because it's become really hard to keep grinding, to keep having, to keep getting hate speech strikes and getting shadow banned on Twitter, and to have weird little sock puppet accounts come after your channel and everything. I think maybe some people just got tired of it or something. I'm not really sure. I know that for me, it could have been easy for me to buckle under the tediousness, the uphill battle of, like having, I've had 4 different hate speech strikes. One copyright claim, false copyright claim from the Ellen Show, which I just got lifted. That's why I can stream again. I had 2 shadow banned accounts. I've been, given 30-day bans on Facebook more times than I can count. I could probably list a number of other things. I've had like a stalker who like has created entire social media accounts just to mess with me, and then also tell me that I'm crazy and that nobody cares about me. That was the cutest one, really. It was like this 15-year-old girl who made an entire social media, like Twitter account, to stalk me, and then seemingly a YouTube account, because she had this YouTube account that had playlists based around me and like my videos, and also had this video of Jordan Peterson making similar sentiments about gender neutral pronouns. And so she's like obsessed with me, and then she's simultaneously telling me that, nobody cares about me. And the best part was when she said that, she's like, "Hey, Prince, if anybody cared about you, don't you think there'd be more gay guys talking about how feminism has been destroying the gay community? Because nobody talks about that." And it's like, okay, that's not true. Like, I have this side channel called The Gaytriarchy where that's all we talk about. And there's all sorts of guys who come on that. Like, you're just lying. Like, I realize that you're a 15-year-old girl, and I have this feeling that, trying to gaslight me and tell me that nobody cares about the things I have to say probably wasn't your idea. I realize that, but you're not doing a very convincing job of making me even believe that even you believe that. It gets really tedious is what I'm saying. Like, if you're actually saying things that strike a chord in the culture war or whatever, yeah, you have to deal with some like weird, crazy crap, and then every once in a while, like you get these really great rewards. Like I get these really, really nice personal messages. Totally. Like that happens. Like, I get people telling me that they were temporarily identifying as non-binary, and then they realized, due to videos like mine, that they're actually a gay male, and that they shouldn't try to call themselves non-binary. And that's great. It's like, oh, that's why I do what I do. But, at the same time, I'm one of the YouTubers that has a lot to say. I talk a lot. It's not just because I like the sound of my own voice. It's because I also have this like vast amount of experience with this weird culture that we all decided to sort of fight against at once upon a time. And I'm still talking about things. Well, a number of people that were involved in this, I think they just decided to try to like kind of cut their losses and no longer be committed to things. And so they were sort of saying, oh, Patreon's a private company. But the sort of the weaker version of it that I've been seeing from people that I know for a fact really, really liked Sargon. Like, people that really I know agree with Sargon and everything. I don't hear a single peep about how unjust it is that this has happened to Sargon from them. What I'm hearing from them is things like, "Oh man, Sargon is so obsessed with being Sargon is so obsessed with being a culture warrior that he got in the way of my income, and now I'm mad at him." like they're mad because Sargon had so many principles that they decided to completely arbitrarily and potentially illegally cancel their contract with him on Patreon. I mean, so Sargon was making them money. He was making his money through Patreon. There might be some sort of illegality that the company committed against him. I mean, it's sort of false advertising. Like, you sort of shouldn't tell someone that you're going to provide this service that's this major monetary transaction every month and then just decide to cancel their right to use it for no reason that is even stated in the contract. That should sort of be illegal. Oh my God, somebody gave me $20. Thank you so much. LG, you're amazing. I love you. I love and support you. You're awesome. So, but these people, they're not mad about the fact that this happened. They're mad about the fact that they're losing money as a small creator, as if, like, what is Sargon supposed to do? Makeup tutorials? Are you kidding? Seriously? Really? Like, just because you decided that the culture war was stressing you out, now it's Sargon's just supposed to give up or something? I don't know. I think it's really tedious that these people are actually like that. But the other thing is that it's like the only reason that they're getting so desperate with Sargon is because he's winning. Like, people like myself, people like Sargon, even Milo Yiannopoulos, and like, okay, I say myself, I include myself into that bracket. I realize I'm a very, very small channel, but at the same time, I've never compromised, and I've always said the same types of things as them. I've never tried to like backpedal all that much and be like, no, I am sick of this, and maybe we should be PC again, which a number of these channels are doing. Like, a number of these channels are trying to sort of like backpedal and be like, well, maybe I like feminists. It's like, no, they're awful. Females are privileged in society, and it's going to be that way for a number of years because the laws are so biased in favor of females. And in favor of various, in favor of privileging minorities, the systemic laws around hate crimes, for example. It's so blatant the way that racial minorities and ethnic minorities, people like Jewish people, Muslim people, such people are blatantly privileged within the system, to the point where white people can be tortured on Facebook Live while somebody chants F white people, F Donald Trump, and nothing happens to them. Like, that's not considered a hate crime because of the fact that this person was white. It's considered a hate crime because of the fact that the person had special needs. These are problems. And it's like, people are like, well, yeah, I mean, that was really, really messed up as long as the Democrats were in power. But now Trump is our president. So, like, hey, I'm gonna sit around defending feminists on Twitter all day. Kind of like, I don't know, like Shiwan Head maybe does that a little bit. Have you guys? I don't really follow her, but she was every time I've ever seen her on Twitter recently, she's like being weird and like hanging out with the SJW 2.0 crowd. Kind of, it seems like it's like, wait, do you even actually hold any opinions against feminists at all? I don't know. I don't even follow her, though. I don't want to trash talk her. Kind of trash talked her on Twitter the other day. So here's the point of this stream. I had a copyright claim from The Ellen Show. It was from my video that I called Kamala Hairspray. You guys watched that video? So I had that video called Vote Kamala Hairspray 2020. I personally was very, very proud of it. I thought it was one of my best videos. Because here's the thing. Being that I am deep behind enemy lines, like being that I am in full-on blue pill America, that I live in Seattle and have lived in San Francisco and New York, and so I know hundreds of these people that live in such places. I can assure you guys that Kamala Harris is the person that these people are going to want to win in 2020. Like, remember how Bernie Sanders was the person that all of the leftists really, really wanted, but then they ended up settling for the big money corporate candidate, which was Hillary Clinton? Well, Kamala Harris is going to be probably that Bernie Sanders like person. I don't know who's going to be the big money person. Like, I just don't actually know. But that's sort of what I think is going to happen. So I made a video that was designed to nip her candidacy in the bud. I was trying to hit her where it would hurt, in terms of how her campaign would appeal to people. And my angle was that Kamala Harris is trying really, really, really hard to play up the identity politics card. She's really, really banking on the fact that she has intersections. You know, first of all, she's a woman. Second of all, her parents were active during the civil rights movement. Third of all, she's a racial minority. Fourth of all, her parents are immigrants, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, actually, none of these things are relevant. You're actually just a fake ass California girl. So in order to do that, I had to show a lot of footage. And because, you know, that was going to be the most effective thing. And the footage that I mainly ended up, well, not mainly, because I showed a lot of footage in it, but some of the footage was from the Ellen DeGeneres show. And it was actually, I have to say, I didn't even hate what she said here. Like, I didn't like, it was not particularly heinous. It wasn't some horrible thing. Like, how very dare she, how absolutely dare she. It was actually kind of cute. I like what she said. Ellen asked her what her first celebrity crush was, and she kind of turned into a total Valley girl and said Tito Jackson from the Jackson 5, who is Michael Jackson's older brother, if anyone's younger. And it was actually kind of cute. I felt like it was a good way to just sort of show that Kamala Harris is fake. And I showed less than 30 seconds of her sounding like a Valley girl and being like, oh my God, I really like Tito. Oh my God. Kind of, you know, just because I figured that was kind of funny. And here's the deal with the YouTube fair use things. Like, you can show up to 30 seconds of literally anything and you won't get a copyright strike technically, but they have a bot that cruises the system. Like, I don't know what type of entertainment company pays for this to get it, but if you have a fancy bot, it will cruise all of YouTube and it will go ahead and find that you were playing some footage at all, and it will give you a copyright strike. And for until that copyright strike gets overturned or you delete the video, then you can't live stream. And that happened to me, and it was really annoying because it's like, okay, can that thing that detects the live footage, or not even live footage, the recording from something from another channel, how about this? How about if it's less than 30 seconds, it automatically undoes itself? Like, how about it doesn't give you a copyright strike if it's less than 30 seconds? If it can find the things that are the copyright strike, surely it can detect that it's less than 30 seconds, right? Well, clearly no. And the Ellen show, Ellen literally waited 30 days. Like, they tell you that they're going to wait 30 days and get back to you about whether or not you violated the copyright claim, like terms of copyright service or whatever. They're like, yeah, they have to get back to you in this amount of time, 30 days. Well, they got back to me on the 30th day, to the point where I wasn't even sure if they were going to get back to me at all, because I've never actually had a copyright claim that I contested. And it turned out that, yeah, I was right. Ellen was wrong. Screw you, Ellen. You're not really that funny. You have your moments occasionally. And I mean, I have to say, sometimes when I watch, sometimes when I'm going through YouTube and I'm just completely bored, and there's a celebrity that I like from movies, I'll watch their little interview with Ellen. And Ellen is personable. Like I'm not a wholehearted Ellen hater. Like there's some people who just think that she's completely awful and boring. I'm not one of those people exactly. Um, I think that she's actually pretty decent at giving interviews and everything. But I do have a little bit of satisfaction knowing that yeah, they do this to people, and they could not do such things to people. They don't have to. And I won, so here I am, not delivering my actual videos because I feel like doing this instead. And yeah, that's basically it. So how about you guys ask me some questions? Questions. I'm going to be looking at this, and super chat questions obviously get priorities. I really appreciate that 20 bucks that somebody else gave me. Uh so yeah, I don't ever really do these Q&As. It's not a thing that I do. But I also don't really pay attention to the chat. So if you guys always wanted to like ask me a question live, think about it. Think about something. Oh, good grief. You're asking me are traps gay? What year is this? How about you go call someone a snowflake as an insult or something? I don't have a good answer. Is being sexually attracted to traps gay? Uh, I will say no. No. Sir Blue Footed Booby says, "What will finally kill social justice?" That's a good question. I have to. I think that what will finally kill social justice is the election in 2020 not going in favor of the social justice candidate. Like I think it will just determine that because okay, ultimately the people who did the social justice stuff, they didn't largely believe in it themselves. Obama might have believed in it because Obama was completely incompetent and an affirmative action hire himself. But I think that the other people, like the people that got behind Obama and that started investing money in places like Vox, BuzzFeed, Mike.com, I think that they actually thought that it was hip with the kids. Like, I think that they actually legitimately made that mistake. And now they're going to maybe invest their money elsewhere. So once that starts happening and it becomes more successful, when the money becomes better spent somewhere else, that will kill social justice. But as it stands now, there's people with social justice ideology who are put into positions of power at corporations, and um it's hard to get them out of there. So yeah. Jeremy M says, "Oh wait, okay, hold on. Why are more SJWs snowflakes in American colleges than in European?" Uh, I don't know. Like, I legitimately just don't know the answer to that question. Though I would say that it has to do with the fact that the SJW thing came from Obama. Like, it all stemmed from Obama. Like, he was the identity politics guy, and it became global because he was way more Marxist than any other president that we've had since Theodore Delano Roosevelt. Um, so yeah, is cereal soup? No. Deadwin author, will you read out your plays? Uh, no, I don't think I will read out my plays because of the fact that I want to actually potentially produce them maybe into animations and stuff. So hold on, I gotta drink something. Okay, Octavio says, "You're a musician, right?" Yes, I am kind of a musician. In that I used to be a songwriter, electronic producer, and vocalist. So I would sit behind a computer and compose entire songs and then sing over them. He says, "Do I plan to upload any of my music someday?" I actually have a song called "Boys on the Dance Floor" on the channel. It's called "Boys on the Dance Floor." You can go ahead and listen to it. I had a little video where I put a lot of photos of male YouTubers. Um, some of them I didn't even like at the time. Mainly it was just Onision, and I showed a picture of him because it suited to the lyric. Like I say something about MySpace hair, and I felt like Onision had MySpace hair, so I showed a photo of him. People didn't really know that, and now I look back at that video, and there's a bunch of people that I don't even like at all. Like I'm like, oh god, this is embarrassing. I hate half these guys. Maybe not half, but like about 25%. Like, like I have a photo of like Philip DeFranco and Andy Worski right at the beginning. And okay, so Andy Worski, that's just like an easy target at this point, so I'm not even really gonna say anything about him. But I don't like Philip DeFranco anymore. I think that he's corporate weird, some weird corporate weirdness going on. I don't trust him. I feel like he's dishonest and um I mean yeah, no, I do think that he's dishonest. I think that he has to know that he's kind of full of crap about a few things. I don't hate him, but I don't like him. I don't like Philip DeFranco, and it's a shame because I used to. I don't know. I feel like it's like, okay, we have Tim Pool. Why do we need Philip DeFranco at this point, right? I don't know. So, have I ever heard of Groovy Ghoulies? No, I don't know Groovy Ghoulies. Okay, so if Jeremy Corbyn becomes the prime minister, will you sponsor me for American citizenship? Uh, I don't know. Do you have what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Uh, so Joshua says, will the 2020 election not going the way of social justice really kill it or make it worse? I think it will come down to money. Uh, yeah, I mean, isn't that sort of what I said? I'm not sure if that's a question. um, Skydancer asked me if I've looked into QAnon. No, not really, but I've heard about it a little bit. Uh, I, being that I'm somebody who actually has a platform, that, I get views sometimes. For somebody with a bunch of shadow banned accounts and stuff, like people sort of pay attention to what I say. I don't like sharing information that's completely non-verified, and QAnon I believe is entirely non-verified. That's like sort of the entire point, so I'm not ever really going to talk about it. So like even in this theoretical world where I entirely believe it and I'm actually even reading it all the time to look for tips or something, I wouldn't really talk about it on my channel because it's unverified, if that makes sense. So somebody said you should pick out one of your plays and do a radio-like show. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if I could do that with any of my plays because I just don't know if they really work in the radio type genre. Though I could write things that would maybe work for radio, but at the same time, uh, uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. So okay, so more questions, guys. Okay, you guys are talking about some other stuff. Hey, can you talk about your life? You mentioned things about your father and living in SF and drugs in some videos. Would it be asking too much asking about these things? I I don't know. Like that's okay. That's kind of a very broad question. I lived in San Francisco for 7 years. I'm in my mid to late 30s. So uh, asking about my father is kind of a very, very broad question. And I started doing drugs technically when I was 12, and I haven't technically entirely given them up in the way that, like, I will smoke pot because I live in a weed legal city. So, um, Joshua Martin asks, do you think all this Patreon drama will have Patreon drama have an effect on the company to the point they seriously rethink their actions? This is what I think, Joshua. I think that Patreon is probably not an independently profitable business. I think that Patreon is probably entirely dependent upon its ties with the Democratic Party. If you watch my video, and I really think that you should watch my video, like, I've over the past couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of stream of consciousness videos. And there's reasons for that. I've been busy with a side project, but I made what I think is maybe one of my best 3 or 4 videos of all time over the past couple days. It was called Tech Censorship Equals War on Meritocracy. And I suggest that all of you guys watch this because it really explains what I think is going on in Silicon Valley right now. And I think it's this thing where the Democrats wanted to have control over Silicon Valley by pushing identity politics onto all of it. And, because of the fact that they knew that everybody was afraid of being called bigots during the Obama years, because the president of the United States was hired for the color of his skin. That's a very powerful social climate, and even Republicans were afraid of being accused of being racist, which I kind of prove in the video. I show a speech of Andrew Breitbart. Well, because the Democrats knew that people were so scared of being called bigots, they also knew that they could get a bunch of trust and safety teams and diversity committees hired at these companies. And so they started investing in them, and they started giving them generous tax breaks. And so the person who invested all the money in Patreon to get it to be one of the favored companies in Silicon Valley is named Joshua Kushner, and he's the brother of Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner actually is a part of the Trump administration. He's some sort of financial advisor or something, I forget, in the Trump administration. Well, Joshua Kushner is his brother, and he was the prime investor in Patreon. He gave a $30 million investment that really made them a formidable company. And so, yeah, they're probably worth more now, but that means that this guy, Joshua Kushner, probably largely owns Patreon, and he's a big old Democrat loyalist. So ultimately, what was the question again? I don't know if they're going to rethink their actions, because I think that would be asking whether this guy, Joshua Kushner, would rethink his actions in terms of party loyalty. And I think that due to the fact that his brother is Jared Kushner, that would be a very complicated question. And because it's not like other Patreons can't exist. It's not a complicated system. It's not a complicated program. Anybody could start a Patreon in Silicon Valley. Everybody knows exactly how to do it. It would be the most easy thing to reverse engineer if you're a semi-competent programmer and have a few business people with you. That's not hard. What's difficult is the bureaucracy and the veritable monopolies thing. The way that these companies are willing to blacklist from PayPal, the competition. So Patreon, I think, is going to kind of hang on to the bitter end. It looks like they're just entirely in bed with the Democratic Party, and that's is what I would guess. And man, I don't know. I'm starting to have a little bit of hope in terms of this notion that like you can't come after people's careers, like you can't cut off their ability to make money um completely arbitrarily just because it's not even because you don't like them, because that's the thing that I think a logical fallacy that people keep on making in terms of the way that they assess this situation. Like people say, oh, you can't cut off people's money just because you don't like them. I don't think that that's what's going on. I don't think that they cut off Sargon's money because they didn't like him. I think what's a lot more potent is that they cut off Sargon's money because he doesn't like them. That's a very big difference. These people want to remain in power. They are the corporate leaders. They have the corporate stocks. They have the corporate control over these information company monopolies and the companies that work with them, you know, like facilitating how the information spreads. Like Patreon is a facilitator of information spreading. It mostly funds internet content creators. And Sargon is calling BS on the whole establishment. And that's why they dislike him. It's because he doesn't approve of the way that they are doing business. And he doesn't want them to be in power anymore. And they're saying, how absolutely dare you? You can't question us. And I just think that that's completely awful. So, yeah. Um, so, let's see. Do you have hope for Jordan Peterson's Patreon replacement, or do you expect it to be smacked down almost immediately like Subscribestar? I actually have hope for it to a certain degree, just because the cult of Jordan Peterson, like there's such a immense cult around Jordan Peterson, and it's not even just Jordan Peterson, it's people like Sam Harris. Sam Harris is now seems to be kind of all in on this, you know, notion that Patreon is corrupt, which is cool because Sam Harris is kind of like the Jordan Peterson of the center left at this point. Like a lot of people more people like Jordan Peterson, but Sam Harris is pretty cool too when he is cool. He's just not always cool. And they see eye to eye about a number of things. Sam Harris gets really, really weird when he talks about the corporate Democrats, but it seems very phony. It seems like he doesn't want to say certain things that he says anyway, and I don't know why he says them. And there's a number of people, and when you get that much media attention, I think things sort of start to maybe potentially change. I think, and this is another really, really big thing. This is important, is that companies, big investors are pulling out of the corporate leftist blogosphere propaganda machine. So like Vox, Mike.com had to sell entirely, and they were like doing really well. So that's a really big deal. And so it's hard to know where places are going to start to invest. And one of the best places for these companies to invest would be in a crowdfunding site, so that smaller content creators could be crowdfunded. There's less control in that, so I'm not entirely sure what would be in it for them, because you wouldn't have any guarantee that the content creators would be propelling your political ideology, but it would be a good investment. And if the investors are starting to pull their investments, then they're going to want to put it somewhere else. So yeah. Hey, Miles, thank you for the $10. Hey, Prince, any updates on the writing? You always share interesting stories. We'll definitely buy it. Thanks a bunch. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. And now these other people are asking, where can I find his stories? I will tell you that I'm working on something right very now. like at this moment there is something in the works that I'm really really excited about. So yeah, that's what I can say. No, I don't have any publishing. If I did write an article trying to it's potentially going to be published somewhere, but you know, ask Chadwick Moore. Okay, that's all I can say about that. So Octavio Bannock says, "Why was your first avatar taken from the movie Son of Chucky, Seed of Chucky?" You know, honestly, I don't really know. I don't have any like great explanation for that. Uh, I kind of just thought he was a funny little character. Like I enjoyed him, and I liked the notion that he was this weird little kid with like two different personalities that would turn evil when he would act like a female. Um, I guess I would sort of relate to that a little bit, if that makes sense. Prince, what are your thoughts on the no whites vacation destination? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know why anyone would. I'm just imagining like you go there and it's a bunch of like Rachel Dolezals being like, "Yeah, I'm a person of color. Look at me," and it's like, that's weird. Most of you people look pretty white. That's just my guess, but I don't know anything about it. So Jeremy says that I should maybe do a blog or something. I have published poems on a blog before. Yeah, I don't know. Um, would you guys really want to see me in print? I'm weird about, I mean, I write a lot. Like it's something that I do just actually it's easier for me to type than it is for me to record the audio of my typed scripts. It's like speaking for me, I get really really anal about pronunciation, which is weird because when I'm actually talking in a live stream or something, I'm not really, and I kind of slur and everybody understands me just fine. Whereas when I'm reading my scripts aloud, I pronounce, you know, even conjunctions, I overpronounce them, and it's like kind of awkward. And I don't know. I don't know. So supposedly it's for Black women in Costa Rica. Okay. I don't know. I mean, like ultimately, I don't care about things that are self-segregatory. When I forget words sometime. I don't really care if people self-segregate. Um, at least not minority groups. I'm trying to think if that's an entirely like okay. And the reason why I say that is that I'm a gay male and I've really enjoyed a lot of events that have been for exclusively gay men. But there's reasons why gay men want to have things that are exclusively for them. Now, when it starts to become racial and that then that's sort of a different can of worms. And I've never even heard of a thing for whites only in my area. Like I just don't know of that. I don't think they've ever happened. Rudy says, "You mean orgies?" Well, yes. But no, they weren't only orgies, but there are things that had sex in them, private parties where there were you know, often hundreds of people, but there would be like a sex room, and I would go to those. I wouldn't really have sex very much at them, but I appreciate the notion of being able to go to these things that has like a dance floor and then these bedrooms full of couches, and you know, it's just kind of fun to go to these things. So yeah. Okay, Octavio Bannock says, "So what is your favorite drug?" Um, I've talked about this in videos. I always had a problem with opiates. And the reason why is because I'm somebody who's had chronic pain. So I always enjoyed opiates because they're painkillers. It's not a huge mystery. Yeah. Hold on. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. All right, I'm back. Hey, sorry about that. Okay, so what type of videos you guys want to see me make? Is there anything that you guys would like to see me make a whole video about? Oh, and Rudy Julian, yes, I'm talking about Ellen, the talk show host. She her little show decided to give me a false copyright strike on my channel, and I couldn't stream for the last month, but now I can. So ta-da. I hope I wash my hands. No, I actually totally wiped my ass with my hand and didn't wash it. Because that's the type of guy I obviously am. So Jeremy M says that Ellen most famously came out as a lesbian when we already knew that. Except for it said on the cover of Time magazine, "Yep, I'm gay," which is kind of annoying because as Our Cat's Gay said, gay should be a word for gay men. Because lesbians made it a big point to have the word lesbian, and yet they also use the word gay. Well, how about they don't get to use the word gay anymore? How about that? Like, why do you need your own word but also have equal access to our world, our word? Oh yeah, because you're I guess because females are always incredibly entitled to things. Is that it? I don't know. That's not what I'm saying. That's not my thought. But some people would say that. Some people would say that. So political analysis. What was the complaint about? It was a copyright strike. And it was a bot that assigned it because it was less than 30 seconds. Somehow it detected it and it made it so I couldn't stream for a month. Literally a month. They say that they'll get back to you in 30 days, and it was on like the 30th day when they finally got back to me. I don't know why the bot couldn't detect that it was less than 30 seconds. I think that they were just trying to screw me over, to be honest. What about Queerkin? I don't know what Queerkin is. Oh, hey, what is your opinion on Yaoi? Yaoi, that's the gay Japanese thing where it's boys making out with each other drawn by Japanese animation. I don't know. I don't ever look at it or anything. I don't even look at porn. Though I do have this odd habit of when I'm streaming and I'm starting to sort of get bored streaming, which happens sometimes towards the end of the Gay Cherokee streams, I start looking at bodybuilder videos. Because okay, so it sounds weird because like most bodybuilders are freakish and are very very veiny steroid type guys that I'm not attracted to, but then there's some that are really cute. And there's also this one British gymnast named Niles something. um Niles, British gymnast, look him up. He's adorable, and I can't stop looking at his pasty white British six-pack whenever I'm streaming. So I'll look at that. That's like sort of like the softcore porn-ish thing. But no, the idea of me going and looking at some drawings of fictional characters kissing each other, it's just not really probably my thing, to be honest. Um, was it the Chris Evans thing from Red Letter Media? I don't know what do you mean Chris Evans from Red Letter Media? Chris Evans used to be pretty cute, I thought, when he was in that movie Push. I thought it was pretty cute. So Sir Blue-Footed Booby, a vid on debate tactics to use on the far left. Oh, I have made those videos actually. I've made a lot of them actually. I think that my video about cry bullying, like the different types of cry bully tactics, I think I have responses, and I think that the 16 different things that SJWs always say, I say what to say back to them. I will say that the best way to deal with SJWs currently, or the far left, like SJWs, far left Marxists, is to just call them racists, because they are. And sometimes you have to like sort of do a little bit of mental gymnastics, but no, far leftists are invariably racists. Like, you have to be a racist to be a far leftist, because the entire worldview of the far left is based around racial identity politics. And that is a product of 8 years under an 8 years under an affirmative action hire as president. Now, I noticed that I find myself saying that a lot. But it's one of these weird things where everybody kind of knows that Obama was only hired because he was black. But the thing about affirmative action hiring is that when you do it, you agree to do it under the condition that nobody ever mentions it. Like, you're never allowed to say that you just hired someone strictly for the color of their skin. You just, it's like a kind of a don't ask, don't tell sort of a thing. And so I was one of the people who voted for him, and it was largely just because he was black. Like, I did that. And I finally realized that our entire culture was built around this notion of us trying to believe that he was this really good president. And we had been just trying to believe that for so long that it had never occurred to us to even think about what he actually did. And once I started saying it, everything made so much more sense. But people are very, very scared to say that. Like, they think it's racist to say that, when the racist part was that we voted for him strictly because of the color of his skin. So I like to say that over and over and over and over, because nobody ever has a good comeback about like why that theoretically wouldn't be true. Like, what the good thing that Obama actually did was, like nobody gets to pretend like he ever did anything good, because Obama literally didn't do anything good at all as a president. Like, can anyone think of one good thing that Obama actually did? Because I literally can't. So hold on, I gotta look up what Red Letter Media is because Chris Evans, because I think Chris Evans kind of cute. Chris Evans okay. What even is this? I have no idea what this is. Yeah, I don't know what this is at all. Yeah, I don't get it. Okay. So, yeah. Let's see. Um. Oh, Rich Evans, not Chris Evans. Okay. Anyway, what do I think of The Purge? Never seen it. Never seen any of them at all. I haven't. Do you want to know how to get a good answer out of me, guys? Though, just give me a super chat. How are there 21 people watching this and not chatting? Like, is it all bots? Are people is it bots like recording everything that I say and logging it for some foreign country's AI or something? I don't know. No, you're not Russian bots. You're Venezuelan bots. You're part of the international socialist corporatist. Maybe you're bots from Germany or something. I don't know. Oh, okay. Thank you, Brian Barbie. Cooking and listening at the same time. What are you cooking, Brian Barbie? You guys, you remember how you're supposed to be asking me questions? Like, I can't entertain you if I don't have anything to say. I'm vaguely considering ordering food. It's getting to be like that late. I wonder if that would be. Um, oh, did I ever watch Glenn or Glenda? No, I didn't ever watch Glenn or Glenda. Sorry, I can't really say that I did. So, ooh, what is this? Oh, that's like a weird. I don't know if I want that. Hey, the new Sabrina. I don't know about the new Sabrina. Oh, so you're listening while working. Oh, okay. Thank you, Octavio. Um, Simi or Yuka? I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. What is that? Oh, okay. What creative industry will SJWs infiltrate next? That's a good question. Let me think about that for a moment. Um, SJWs will infiltrate the weapons manufacturing industry. They will somehow try to make guns more accessible for women or something. I think so that they could get Antifa to be doing such things more. I don't know. Oh, I don't have Netflix, Jeremy. Sorry. Uh, top or bottom? I tend to be a top, but it's probably largely because I'm bad at bottoming. But I would I've bottomed before and actually really liked it a lot with a few guys. So yeah. So that's not set in stone. So what about Ed Wood? Okay. I didn't see the Ed Wood Glenn or Glenda. I just didn't see it. So yeah. But yeah, I kind of like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Do you know what show I really liked? That was like a silly show that was actually kind of good. That I like. I always just like randomly really enjoyed it when it came on. Was Moesha? Did you guys ever watch Moesha? It was a good show. I should actually do a YouTube search and just sit around watching Moesha some night. Maybe if I have a friend over, like or something. I don't know. I don't really have friends. I mean, I do. I have my one friend that I hang out with, but I have to like set up little dates with her, and then we usually like go do something social with friends of hers, and we don't sit around watching things. We did watch a movie at her house when she had surgery. So I went over to her house and I brought over Sleepaway Camp 3, which has a trans woman who she kills people. She's not really trans, but she's supposed to be in the movie. And it's kind of a funny movie. It's just a funny movie. Oh, the two participants in a yaoi relationships, and to a lesser extent in Yuri 36, are often referred to as the same top and uki bottom. These terms originated in martial arts. Oh, okay. So yeah, I do tend to be the top. Okay. So Charmed, I never watched it. Oh, how do you decide who is on bottom and who is top? Well, the thing is that um it's really rare when it's a contest. Usually that is kind of like usually there is that actually like male female chemistry where like the one who wants to get penetrated sort of acts like it and the one that wants to sort of acts like it. But it's weird because I've noticed that a lot of the bottoms kind of want to hit on the top more. That's there's no good way of explaining nightclub chemistry to a chat. Like how am I gonna explain that? So yeah. Was I ever closeted? No, not really. I came out when I was 14. So not really. No. And I didn't come out, I surrendered. My sister and my mother was very convinced that I was gay. For my sisters, they all thought I was gay and they were right. So yeah, I didn't really have to or like, I tried to be closeted in like middle school and it didn't really work. People kind of knew I was gay. So eventually I just admitted, yeah, I'm gay. Fine. I'm not a ginger though. Um so the guy who is on top is the one who flirts, who go after. I don't know if I would say that. I would say bottoms can be really, really flirty, actually. But I feel like women are too. I think it all depends. Like, I think that attractive men actually get hit on a lot by both women and bottoms. And I don't think people quite understand that. Like, when I was in my early 20s, I was quite good looking. And sometimes women would hit on me. And it was this, like, very, it was like, oh, this is, I don't want to say awkward because it would seem like it was awkward just because I was gay, but it was like, oh, I didn't realize women hit on dudes so aggressively. And I'm not just saying like, weird, awkward, drunk teenage high school girl at a party trying to be like, but like girls that knew what they were doing, like they knew how to get laid. Like I was at this karaoke place one time and there was this girl there, and I could tell that she kind of thought I was cute because there wasn't all that many people there. There's probably only like 20 people total. And she was kind of looking at me a bit like while she was singing and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was good looking. Like she was not bad. And then there was a 24-hour diner that I would go to afterwards. And I went over there around the time that bar was closing and I was eating. And then she was there all of a sudden, she just happened to be there. And she came over and started talking to me. And I was sitting on a stool because they have like a counter. And she started talking and she put her legs to either side of my knee. So she was like sort of like straddling my knee a little bit while she was like talking to me. And I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I don't have sex with women, but I'm fairly sure if a woman has her legs spread over the top of your knee, she would probably have sex with you. And she was like leaning in and talking to me and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. Huh. But she didn't say anything. Like she didn't, say anything that would lead me to believe that she wanted to have sex with me. It was just this, it was like, okay, I have this feeling that that's what that means. Joshua Martin asks if I'm good looking anymore. I'm not bad looking. I just I don't really take very good care of myself. And I don't really have hair on the top of my head. Now, granted, if I shave off the hair that I have left, it looks all right. But I used to have more hair, and that looked kind of cute. And I'm a little bit overweight. So yeah. Rudy asks, so gay men verbalize their desires? Yeah, I would, or gay men just like actually grope guys. Um, it's a little bit more abrupt with gay men. It's a little bit more abrupt. So yeah. Oh my God. I need to go get my hips x-rayed because there's something so screwed up about them. Like I don't know what is going on with them. It's so strange feeling though. I'm gonna start looking at the food again, guys. You're boring me. I think that the food delivery site just changed a bunch or something because it looks dramatically different. Like, how do I find the oh, maybe I could get this. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, okay. So okay. Prince, where do you think gay people's gay accent comes from? It's fairly obvious you're gay from your voice. And why does it not happen with lesbians? Well, first of all, it does actually happen with lesbians. There is a lesbian accent to a certain degree. There's not very many lesbians. Like, there's very, very few lesbians. But if you actually come across certain lesbians, you can tell by how they sound. Like, it's not unobvious. I don't know about the gay accent for males exactly. I don't. That would be a. I would have to make like a whole video about it, and I would have to like really, really process that thought for a long time. I'd have to really think about it. Um. Oh, you said that. Okay, Brian Barbie says he really liked my video about not caring about abortion and gay marriage. Feminists want to have their cake and eat it too. Thank you. I that was one of those things where I realized I had felt that way for a really long time, and um I figured I might as well just say it, you know? Like, I don't have to care about your stupid abortions. Like, I uh and I do see both sides of the argument. Like, I sincerely do. I sincerely do. Like, and when I say that, I'm not saying, like, people really want me to pick a side. Like, people really want me to say, like, hey, well, you admit that having an abortion is bad, so that sounds like you're pro-life. Um, well, yeah, you shouldn't kill your unborn fetus, but then at the same time, like, what is most economically viable for our nation? Should there be the option of doing this? Yes, potentially. That might actually be better. I don't really know. I don't know. But do we need to maintain our population levels? Well, a lot of people say that we do. But then, like, well, what if things change because of automation? I'm not really sure. I don't know. Oh, like, I maybe the biggest problem in the future though is that people are just going to get lonely. Has that ever occurred to anyone? It's just going to be all these people who are lonely when they're elderly. That would be a sad thought. Like, there's all these robots taking care of us and we're just bored. Uh how much longer are we on for? I don't know. Got some super chats. What do I like to drink when I get drunk? Whiskey generally. Rudy asked if I'm like an alpha dude among gay guys. Yeah, I probably am. Yeah, I'm kind of an alpha gay guy. I'm kind of an alpha dude among straight guys. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen me in an argument with straight guys anywhere, but like, I don't take crap from anyone at all. Like, I think that people underestimate that because I sound like a 14-year-old drag queen, but like I have pretty low tolerance for BS, and I'm pretty quick to the saying what I mean about it. And sometimes, you know, like, ultimately to a bad degree, like, sometimes where I overreact and I think that people are being rude when they're not trying to be and stuff like that. And that just comes from my upbringing. I think, like, I have a really, really messed up family. Like, my family is psychos. Like, I'm by far the most well-adjusted member of my family. Everybody else is just completely psycho. And it's weird. So, like, I sit around, you know, sometimes I do jump the gun and everything, because I've had to fend for myself within my family my whole life. So that's the thing. Um, do I miss living in San Fran? No, I don't, because San Fran San Francisco is just not the same as it used to be at all in any way. It's just not the same place. So I don't miss that because I can tell what it is like. Like I can just see what it's like now from the way that people are, and they've gotten even stupider than they were when I was living there, which was really, really bad at the time. So no, I don't miss being there. I just don't. I miss the way it used to be, but like the way it used to be was like 8 or 9 or 10 years ago was what I liked from it. And like, doesn't everybody miss 8 or 9 or 10 years ago? Wasn't 8 or 10 or 9 years ago just a better time in North America or everywhere? Like before Obama just completely destroyed everything with his complete and utter incompetence as an affirmative action hire for president. I want to say it yet again because he was really that bad. He could not get. I mean, hey, I asked for it. I thought it would be cool to hire a guy because he was black, and now I know. If we're gonna ever hire a person who's a minority again, we have to be really, really sure they're really, really good. We have to really, really, it's like it's kind of a shame because like now that we've made the mistake of voting for Obama, like electing Obama just because he was black, it's going to be a lot harder for any type of minority to get into office because everybody's going to be like very hesitant. Like it's going to be like, okay, why do people like you? Is it because you're, black or gay or a woman? And, even if this person is really great, people are going to be scared that they're not great. And that's a shame. So Brian says you hit the nail on the head about it though. They want everybody to support them, but if you disagree with them, they tell men their opinion doesn't matter. They want it both ways. It sucks. Yeah. Well, they don't just do that with like abortion and gay marriage. Feminists kind of do that about everything. Like they sort of do that all the time. Black Knight Fool says gay males do not affect the reproduction rate that much because it only takes one man to impregnate many women. That's probably true. Rudy Julian says I'm going to start a blog dedicated to shaming old cat ladies. A lot of yes, people super chat, like, share, and subscribe. Oh, okay. So Octavio Benox asks, "Do I have some artistic influence in my writing, like gay authors?" Do you know who I actually really liked a lot is Tennessee Williams. Tennessee Williams is quite good. He's a good playwright. Anything by him is worth reading, or seeing, rather, in general. Okay. There's 22 people watching. Like I feel so guilty if I were to just like cut this off. I know I'm getting more viewers. Okay. Yeah, I am actually here now. Raw Unplanned Dance. How are you doing? Hey, Raw Unplanned Dance. I want you to know that I'm going to include your comment where you told me recently that you've realized that you're a gay guy and that you're not non-binary in my one of my next videos because it's topical. I'm going to be talking about this notion of people who are trans women because they failed at being men. Because that's what a lot of people, on the right would say. And what, like, I'm not supposed to say that, and I don't entirely think that. But then at the same time, I also know that there are people who transition to being female because they've forfeited on being a man. Like, they realize that they are bad at being men, or that it was hard and they don't want something that's so hard. So they decided to just try to be a woman. And that's what the whole video is about. I definitely bring up contradicting themselves points. Is that because God, I feel like I'm like the only person that is on YouTube that like goes into depth about just how horrible ContraPoints is. Like, people hate them. Like, other YouTubers will casually mention ContraPoints as, the example of like the big SJW YouTube channel, but nobody like actually like deeply resents this person besides me. And I don't know why that is. Like, maybe it's just because like people really hated Anita Sarkeesian, but I think it was because of the video game thing. Like, I think people hated the fact that this is a person just talking about video games and not knowing anything about it. And then I think that people hated, I don't know why people hated Steve Shives so much. I couldn't even watch him. It was like, this guy is just boring. I think maybe it was because he used to be a cool atheist back in the day. Like, he made some good atheist videos, and then people were very disappointed in him when he flipped or whatever. But with ContraPoints, like, I guess maybe I take it kind of personally because this is a person who's supposed to be LGBTQ or something, and they use their identity as a queer person as some sort of gimmick and shield from criticism, and I really hate that about ContraPoints. Like, I just they're so awful. So yeah. So Black Knight Fool says you don't sound that well. Yeah, it's true. I don't. I've actually been up for kind of a while. I'm on a very strange sleep schedule, so I'm just sort of like staying awake. And I was going to record a video, and then I realized I could stream. So my voice is getting a little bit hoarse. I was playing a lot of Overwatch. Like, I started playing, and then this girl that I play with sometimes was on her boyfriend's account. She was trying to put it into placements, and so we played for like 2.5 hours, and we were talking the whole time. So my voice is getting kind of hoarse after all of that. So should I play StarCraft? I probably should play StarCraft. StarCraft is kind of fun. Yeah, I think that people are... I think that responding to ContraPoints is just really tedious. And I think that ContraPoints knows that. Like, I think ContraPoints realizes that, like Anita Sarkeesian was quick to the punch, and she would say things that were logically inconsistent, but she would say them within, 10, 12 minutes or so. But like, ContraPoints goes on for like 45 minutes, and you have to like actually sit there, and listening to the whole thing is just this long, arduous process, because it's mostly just blah, 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 horribly acted, really high production quality stuff. Like, how many people are making ContraPoints' videos with them? It's weird. Like, why does nobody mention how strange that is? Because like, you look at the old videos and it was so poorly made, and then all of a sudden it's just like really fancy lighting, really fancy costumes, like pretty good, quite good editing, like all these different things. And even like the writing got better, as if they got a joke writer or two, because ContraPoints is not funny. It's not a clever person. It's not like, it's like they have like 6 people working on those videos, because whoever that person is not doing all that crap themselves. Like, and like nobody's like, I'm like, why aren't the other YouTubers ripping on this person? It's so easy. It's so ripe for the pickings. So Um, do I think I'll ever vote Democrat again? I don't know. I have no idea. I never say never. I mean, political parties change. Political parties are full of people. People have diabolical motives. They like to worm their way into things and corrupt them from the inside out. That's how politics works. So I don't know. Oh, Keith Smasher started playing Overwatch because of me. That's so sweet. Who's your main, Keith Smasher? Who do you like to play the most? Black Knight Fool says ContraPoints took a long time before he up and decided that he was going to transition into a woman. Kind of seemed almost political. Well, I can't comment too much about that because I don't want to like have my channel terminated for misgendering somebody because apparently that happens. But yeah, don't say. Yeah, I'll definitely be including a little bit more about my skepticism of the genuineness of this person's transition. Which, remember, I didn't even have a solid opinion until Contra accused me of not thinking their transition was genuine and pretended like I wanted to talk to them about their transition, which I never did. And it's like, okay, if you're so paranoid about it, like if you're so paranoid that people don't think that you're like really trans and that your transition was phony, maybe that comes from somewhere. Maybe there's a reason why people don't believe you. Just saying. Oh. Oh, Moira, Symmetra, and Anna. I'm horrible at Anna. I'm good at Moira. I feel like everyone's good at Moira. Now, I'm a really, really good Moira though, because I also play Sombra and being able to like teleport out of danger, like push it to the limit and then teleport out is the same with Sombra. So yeah, I'm a really, really good Moira. Like I can carry a team with Moira. Um uh, how long does my writing process take me and how do I choose my topics? Well, it really depends. Really depends. Usually my videos are things that I scripted that day. It's been taking me a bit longer to write and finish the videos now that I've started using more clips of video footage. I used to entirely write the scripts and just do a slideshow, and that was due to the tech that I had at the time. I was working off of a MacBook Air, and so I didn't really have the option of saving videos to it. Whereas now I can save as much video as I want. So now that I do that, it takes me a lot longer to edit the videos. So yeah, but man, usually it's things that I think of that day, but the ideas don't come as much as they used to when I first started 2.5 years ago. Like when I first discovered this format, and also when my videos would get views and lots of thumbs up, and it was a lot more engaging. And whereas now I get buried in the algorithm in my shadow banned Twitter, and so it's a bit harder. And also like I interact with people less. Like thousands of people have me blocked on Facebook, like thousands of awful, regressive, lying SJW monsters have me blocked. And I used to draw inspiration from them, and I don't really get them so much. But they also just got really repetitive. I mean, they say the same exact crap as they said 5 years ago, like literally. They didn't change at all. And I've said most of it, like if you go through all of my listicle videos And like all the different, like just the listicle videos alone that I was doing for like, you know, probably like the first year or so, maybe like 9 months that I was on YouTube, I did all these listicle videos, and all the different points I would make in those listicle videos, like all of those talking points, like really cover a lot in terms of SJWs and stuff and the far left. So yeah, yeah. Brian Barbie says, I've never seen any of ContraPoint's videos, mostly because of how you described them. Is that wise of me, or should I bite the bullet? I think that you should maybe watch one just to see how awful they really are, because they're really, really, really horrifically awful. And it's amazing to me how many people say that they kind of like, I think like Tim Pool has said that he likes ContraPoints' videos, and it's like, what? Tim Pool, you're smart. Have you even watched them, or do you just think that you're supposed to sort of say that? Because like a lot of people who, like, there's all sorts of people who are mostly smart but say, I don't know, I kind of like ContraPoints. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I kind of like it. And it's like, okay, there's nothing to agree with at all. Like literally every point that ContraPoint made. Okay, granted, it'll be like 45 minutes long, and then there'll be like 2 points in the whole thing, and both of them are untrue. Like both of them are completely intellectually dishonest. Like, or they even like contradict each other. Like the video about race, like ContraPoints has a video about race, and the whole video is talking about how the concept of race is outdated because the way that we define race is based around some arbitrary thing that some old dead white guys came up with to describe different features such as hair and skin tone, but it's not actually accurate, and so these old dead white guys came up with race, and so blah 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 blah, and ContraPoints goes on like that for like 30